This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Now the agenda, public comment. Number 8, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Rickheimer, second by Mr. Buckles to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, county clerk report. Ms. Klein.
So this is our regular monthly report. We're starting out the year with a lot of dog licenses. Nothing big there. The ballot candidates were all certified for April, and the ballots are shipping, actually, they shipped yesterday. They're all proofed and approved by WEC and ready to go, so they'll be coming in. Public records requests are going fine. Everything's flowing without having that software, so that's good. And I'm keeping the records that I receive in folders, so we're tracking those that way. We worked on the notary service. We get a lot of really off-the-wall requests for notary stuff, and we looked at other counties and talked to Rebecca Roker, and we came up with a good policy that protects the county and kind of limits the service we provide. So that's done and posted. Mike approved that. We're working on updating the website page, cleaning up links that lead to different information, and maybe changing the homepage. And there's a bulletin board in the lobby now for senior resources. We're talking about adding something a little bigger for ADRC to be on there, and then also maybe veterans having a little bulletin board that directs them to the Veteran Service Office. And I'm attending the WCCO conference in Madison, and then the Public Information Officer training later in the month in March. That's my report.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Number 10, Veteran Service Report. Ms. Delia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So for January, our office had 594 phone calls, 1,081 letters, emails, and faxes that went out or in, and 168 office visits, with 97 of them being walk-ins. For perspective, 2025, in January, we had 366 phone calls, 648 letters, and 150 office visits. The VA disability compensation and pension claims, we had submitted for the month of January 18 disability claims to date, and we have received retroactive payment of $52,234.17 for claims that were decided in the veterans' favor. Compared to January of 25, we had 16 claims and $13,445.09. We continue with our La Crosse Vet Center as far as co-managing veterans counseling sessions, individual and group. We expanded the group sessions. That's why there's 5. So there's actually, we put 2 more group sessions in for Gulf War vets, and for we've got a special one for veterans that are not doing well. So, I mean, as far as physically, and it's more of a social support type thing and putting hands together. So, and that seems to be working out pretty nice for these veterans. Outreach, coffee and conversation still goes on the first Wednesday of every month. We had a pretty good showing in January. We hosted Bayfield County. So Bayfield County and Iron County both have new CVSOs. So the Iron County veteran service officer was a former employee for Sawyer County. And so he reached out to us for some assistance and guidance in trying to set up his office and how to navigate things. And quite honestly, Nicole's been right there for him on that. Bayfield CVSO asked if he could come down for a day and just talk about benefits, how we work the office, how we did business. And so we had him down to try to help him out. He will get his accreditation, the 27th, the week of the 27th, so 2 weeks from now. Or no, next week. Is it next week? Yeah, 2 weeks from now. So the 27th that week, he'll be getting his accreditation with the state and then working on cross accreditation from there. So anyway, it's a long spool up, if you will. You can do this for as long as I have and still not know everything. There's just so many benefits and the rules constantly change. So hopefully we're getting them off to a good start because their success will actually help our office out quite a bit. So as far as through traffic goes. What was funny was mentioned is from the Bayfield CVSO is when he come down, he was asking about the social media. And I guess his county administrator said, do whatever Sawyer County's doing because, they're getting that information out. So we helped them. And so it's funny. I asked Nicole, I said, can you see who's following us? So we're doing good with that. We're doing good, period. What else do I have for notes here? We got Valentine's cards. We picked up the last of them. We've had the Winter and Hayward School children, the clerk's office hosting, putting cards together for veterans, and actually other individuals have walked in with cards and goodie bags to be handed out to our veterans. And we're going to start that today and try to get out to some of the nursing homes to cut that down. And then tomorrow will be basically the cleanup and getting these cards out to everybody. And then on the 27th of this month, we're hosting the Northern Wisconsin County and Tribal Veteran Service Officers Organization training. And we're going to be doing it down at the community center. It seems to be the best place for setup for training. We're looking at probably it could be up to 30 people showing up. So it's 20 counties of personnel, depending on whether they shut down the office for the day and all come up, or if they, leave half staff or one person back. But anyway, so I'm setting up the training with that and gathering up, I guess, basically people to come talk to us about their programs here in the Northwest, because it's not all the same throughout the state as far as nonprofit organization support plus state support and what's available. So we're gonna focus on that for the 27th. As far as our training's up to date. Our accreditations are up to date, and we're moving out sharply. Any questions?
With your office report contacts doubling, is that norm? I mean, do you feel like it's a trend that's gonna, or is that just something unique for January?
No. No, I couldn't put a rhyme or reason to why we ebb and flow the way the workload does. I think it's constantly increasing. We still get new veterans coming in here from either out of state or from the lower part of the state, moving up to Sawyer County. That's part of it. I think, Bayfield was closed for a while, so we got some of that flow through.
Can you remind me how many veterans we have in our county roughly?
I could tell you what the feds believe it is, and then I can tell you what I believe it is, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I honestly believe we're somewhere around. I think we're somewhere around 2,000 on file, okay? But I think the feds are coming back and saying we're like 13 or 15. I can't remember the exact. It matters. It matters not in a sense. It really comes down to the workload and whether we can sustain or not. So
That's the reason I ask. If they all came into your office, would you be able to handle it?
It's challenging at times. I'm not going to lie. And other times, if you get on top and stay on top, it's great. I think our office's frustration comes in is not necessarily. So we're accepting the fact that we're going to have higher workloads at times, right? But What really, I guess, just is an energy drainer is when we file things with the federal government or the state government, and the feds are the worst on this one as far as denying things, and they're wrong. They're wrong. They made an error in processing the claims where they missed it, either lack of training, whether they're using AI. I don't know the reason for it. But like yesterday, I received notification from one of the children of a surviving veteran, spouse of a veteran who had, we filed a claim. It's for basically for service-connected death for the spouse. And we do that for multiple reasons. There's benefits attached to it. One of them is called dependent indemnity compensation. And that compensation is around $1,700 a month to the spouse for the rest of their life, basically because we could show that the veteran died due to that service-connected condition. Once we get that, that's nice, but the other thing that I think is just as important, if not more important, is if I get the veteran spouse awarded a DIC or dependent indemnity compensation, I can apply for CHAMP VA, which is the VA's actual insurance, health insurance, where they don't have to pay premiums. They're not paying $500-600 a month to keep some health insurance. It's a good insurance, and what it does is it drops on, but if the spouse has to have A and B, Medicare A and B, if they do that, that's their primary insurance driver. The CHAMP VA comes around the backside and picks up the other 20%. It's a huge savings for a spouse when, in our country, usually when the male dies in a household, that's 2/3 of the income just walked out the door. So it is huge to try to, help sustain that spouse through the rest of their life. But anyway, so this CHAMP VA, the only place that you can do this is in Denver. There's one phone number to them. And I got a letter yesterday where they said that the veteran did not die of a service-connected condition, which is absolutely false. The Veterans Benefits Administration determined that it was service-connected death, and we provided that paperwork with that application so they could see that. But it stopped that person's application for health insurance. And I no more than got done telling Nicole that, and she goes, "Wait, who is that?" And I told her, and she goes, "I've got another one here." So, it's a systemic thing where we're doing 2 to 3 times the work for something that should never have happened. It should have been a one-time deal, and we're going back and back and back again. So it's horrible. And there's no way, so I called the number that the VA had, and when it says talk to a representative, I push the corresponding number and the phone hangs up. So that's what we're dealing with, at times, and it just is Angry Bird at that point, Angry Bird. So anyway, you don't know where to throw a rock, but but anyway, that's just one example of many that happens on a weekly basis with the state and feds. So
I just want to thank you for all that you do. I know you helped with the situation, keeping a veteran safe, and that wasn't even in our county, so thank you for that.
Yep.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Number 11, Veterans Tribute Update. We got the results back from SEH.
Yeah, I'll walk the group through those. Thank you. I got this report late yesterday. This is the phase 2 of the testing for the proposed Veterans Memorial site, Veterans Tribute site. And I'll just take you through some of the things they did. If you go down to about the middle of this page, it says executive summary. What they did is they did borings down to either 20 feet or the water table. They hit the water table, groundwater table, and did testing there. They did field screening, geological logging, and headspace screening. They took collections of soil and water, actually. They did a complete analysis of both, and they did do some radar screening, looking for those two tanks that we were not able to determine if there had been above ground or below ground. And then they did the evaluation of all the data. So they took 3 soil samples and found nothing in there. There was no detection that was above any standards of anything in there, no volatile organic compounds at all to note. And they also did a testing of the groundwater that they hit, and there were no petroleum volatile organic compounds in any of that either. So that's all really good news. Again, I was probably being overcautious in this, but I didn't want to get into the project, find something that was gonna cost the county $200,000 to remediate. So that's why I wanted to go through all of this. The good news is we didn't find anything. If you flip over the page, they do have kind of the recommendations. There is an oil tank, like a heating oil tank, in the fuel oil tank in the basement. In the purchase offer, I would put in there to have that removed as a contingency of that. That would be my recommendation. Otherwise, really nothing there. And then they didn't find anything, so we don't have to worry about anything else. So the board had approved the purchase contingent on a clean bill of health. We now have the clean bill of health. The next step would be to move forward with the purchase. If you're okay with it, with my recommendation of them, not that the owners would have to remove it, but in the demolition, if we had it removed, that the owners would pay for the cost of taking that tank out. So that would be the next step. I did update then this color chart, kind of a timetable of the project itself. Today's February 12th at this meeting. If you would give me the direction to move ahead with the purchase. We don't have to do that right now, I'll take you through this, but that would be the action item for today. And then I would bid out the demolition, have those bids due the week before our next meeting, so we can approve that there. And also during that time, begin work on what we would like this project to look like, the concept and design. And then we could approve the demo bid at the March 12th meeting. That could get underway the next day or that afternoon, whenever it's approved. And then we would continue to work on design and review those on April 9th. Also approve, no, just approve the design. And then I would put out bid packages then for the project itself, have those due back on June 1st and approve that on June 11th, and then we could do the project at that point. I'm assuming this isn't a real lengthy project. The goal for sure would be to have it done by Veterans Day, but I actually would like to have it done by Labor Day weekend, I think would be a nice goal. So any questions on any of that?
No, I appreciate this. If you need a motion to move this forward, I will make that motion.
Move forward with the purchase.
Move forward with the purchase. Well, I hate contingencies because that's why we've waited this long, but I will say.
Specifically to remove the fuel tank from the basement.
So is that different than the regular demo? Is that what you're concerned about? Because, I mean, there's,
I think since it's specifically named in the findings, I would like it separate from the demo. It can happen at the same time, but I would like the owner to pay for the removal of that. Because it might have to be cut to get it up the stairs.
Okay.
Oftentimes those are put in before the floor is put on,
okay.
so it might cost $2,000, I don't know, but
Well, I think the it's been very generous to wait this long and be patient with the county, so then I just fear, adding that and not saying thank you for being patient.
I'll say thank you if you want, but I
Okay.
still would like it in there.
Well, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I just,
Yeah, that's just my recommendation. You make the motion how you want and vote on it accordingly.
I'm gonna second that motion. And then for discussion, it was a 250,000, right?
total that
Total?
from, total project, yes, correct.
And is this gonna be figured in that or no? I wanna make sure I understand this.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was
right.
planning on it unless you want to do it differently, which would require a whole nother
I mean,
motion.
I'm
and-
fine with it.
Liz, do you need clarification on my motion? So my motion was to move the Veterans Tribute forward as presented by Mr. Markren with a contingency that the fuel tank be addressed one way or the other. We trust our administrator to do bigger purchases than this, so I think this will be just fine.
We have the motion from Ms. Hessel and second by Mr. Buckles. Any other discussion?
Can I ask one more question? So would the design phase that you're talking about, would that still remain in this committee? We're not doing another separate committee, correct? We're just going to stay in this committee and
Correct.
work on that? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was following the rules so I don't get in trouble.
So we'll vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I mean, you put a lot of work into this too, we really appreciate it.
Is there anything else we want to cover while we're in tribute update?
It reads that there's a plan for the park, but we do not have that because we were waiting on all of these other preliminaries. So there's no plan. That's why I just wanted to make sure it was staying in this committee.
So what's the next step?
He has it laid out very well, saying that the next step would be to put out bids for demolition. So we don't have to do any of this. You're going to do all of this.
I'll do this
Do you
now
need,
from now on.
if you need our assistance at all, I think all of us can help you, so.
Okay.
I'll work with Corp Council on the purchase agreement, which we already have started, so just a couple tweaks.
Thank you.
No, it stays here. Number 12, Information Technology Report. Mr. Coulson.
Public health and zoning are tracking tourist rooming house licenses, and they've been doing that for about a year. Their first renewal cycle is coming up in May. So they've asked us to help track the county side of the licensing. The state side is maintaining a different system. So we're gearing up for that. We'll be producing renewal invoices and helping them prepare for the work that'll start in April and May. Other projects we're working on, we assist law enforcement with the Birkebeiner ski race. We put additional surveillance cameras out and phone systems in the Lenroot area, so we're ready for that. Other than that, we've completed about 68 requests from various departments, and that's my report.
Thank you. Any questions, sir?
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it. Number 13, Human Resources Report, HR Report. Ms. Rose Leroux, feel free to speak. Is she on? Anything you want to add, Mike?
I'd just like to add again that we're doing very well with staffing, not very many vacancies at all, and we have had plenty of applications, plenty qualified applications for the ones we've posted recently. So a lot better position than we were 4 years ago when I came on board. It was a little tougher environment then.
All right, thank you. Number 14, Nemacolin Transit Garage on the county property. Discussion and possible action, yes.
This request comes from Nemacolin Transit. They had applied for a grant for a garage. They were awarded that grant. I believe it's about $300,000. This would cost the county nothing. It would be, the reason we're bringing it here is this is on county property. So it would be a garage. I don't know if it's attached or just adjacent to the transit building. But
I don't believe it's gonna be attached.
yeah, I think the cost, it would be a lot more if it was attached. They've got one bid, they have to get another one per their grant application, and it's $310,000. So that would tell me it's a standalone, not trying to tie into a building. Just need approval to move, for them to move forward on this. I guess the one thing I'm going to have a discussion with Transit about, because right now, everything's on our property, we are paying the insurance. I don't know that I want to pay the insurance on this addition necessarily annually, so I'm gonna talk with the new manager about that.
That just makes sense. I mean, yeah, I would think, we pay the insurance on the building now, right?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with them having to pay the insurance on the building, on the shed.
Yeah,
I mean, I could bring that up today, but it's not on the agenda, but you can go ahead and talk to them, like, you
Yeah,
know. so.
it's not like it's a deal breaker, right? This is a good
Right.
thing for everybody to.
Yeah.
It's not costing the county anything to do this. And it's another asset on the site too.
It costs the county money if we have to pay for the insurance.
Correct,
But,
that's why I don't want
yeah,
to pay for the
right.
insurance.
So
Yeah.
that's where, if people are saying it's not an addition to our cost, it is. Will it make it won't make the other building go up unless it's attached?
It shouldn't.
Okay,
Should be no fire stuff involved because it wouldn't be attached. They'll have to have proper distance according to zoning and all of that. but-
right.
Right.
Yeah, I think did you approve it?
That's it.
I made a motion to approve it, I think, didn't I?
I didn't think you did, I was waiting
Oh,
for
well,
it.
yeah, I did.
I'll second that, as long as, well, that. You had to have a caveat, I can't.
So there's a motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Ms. Hessel to approve that they can proceed with building the second building out there. Question. Do we know how big the building is?
Yes, it's large, 60 by 102, 17-foot sidewalls.
17 foot.
Do you know then it'll be towards the forestry, or towards the back?
That I don't know.
Because if it impedes the fair parking, that wouldn't be good.
True, yeah.
So that might be a question if you could ask. I mean, I'm all for them getting a grant to
Not
build.
sure where they wanna put it. I guess we never got into that, but.
Yeah, 'cause if they put it right where their parking lot is, that would be
That would
a
be,
little bit of an impedance for
Well,
fair.
I don't know either, but I'd assume they'd either put it to the north or to the west where they park their vehicles, but I don't know that. The cold storage?
Yeah. It's just to keep, so, Nemacolin Transit has a few elderly drivers, where they have to come in the morning and get all this snow and stuff off their buses. It's just a place to keep them in out of the weather, so.
Well, they stay so much nicer when they're parked inside.
I'm still all for the building. I just am concerned of the location and then the insurance. So I just want that noted.
Yeah, Mike.
Okay.
You can bring that up to them and see where they go with it, unless you want me to discuss that with them today.
Well, if it's not on your agenda, that makes it hard.
I-
You can't, yeah.
But you can ask the question like at the end of the meeting, where's it located at?
I can just bring that up if that garage is gonna be, asked anything about it, I'll ask her, well, where do you wanna put that thing? If they don't, Mike, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk to them.
Do we want to hold off on approving it or have that as a contingency then?
Well, I'll make with the contingency. I
But it-
mean, there's gotta be enough room there.
There it is. It's a whole 40 there, so.
I just wanted the concerns noted, but I don't think you have to do it, we can't.
I don't want to hold
If
that
it's
up.
a grant.
Right,
we don't
right,
have
right,
control
yeah.
over that. Just, if it's on our land, what part of our land are they using, is all I'm asking.
If need be, persuade them if we think we need to move it. That sounds good to me. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, folks. Number 15, County Administrator Report. That would go to the county board, Liz, because it's county land.
I should ask about the contingency. How do you want that worded? The original motion was just to approve, and then.
As long as it doesn't impede with fair parking.
I think Mike was just gonna work with the. Sorry, Mike was just gonna work with the transit on addressing those concerns, but it wasn't a contingency of approval. Because they're getting a grant, so the two things were just a concern.
Maybe you could have that answer before the board meeting.
Yeah. Got it pulled up. It looks like there's room on the south side of the building, doesn't it?
What's their driveway going in?
Oh, off to the side of the driveway,
To the east side?
southeast of the building, east of the,
Towards the fair, right?
correct, yeah. And that, I mean, their lot is huge too. I
Yeah.
don't know that it would impede a lot.
Well, so just in the past, in the history of the fair has been so busy that they've actually had to park at the county shop and get bussed over. So, or, use the wagon trailer. So I just want to make sure that we're making note of that so that there's not a issue when it comes to the fair board saying, why did you use up our parking lot? So just want to make sure that that's noted so that we can respect all entities.
Yep, for sure. All right, moving on then. For County Administrator's Report, the other thing I handed out for this meeting is the survey from the Wellness and In-Service Day that we held on January 19th. So I'll just kind of walk you through this a little bit. I asked several questions. The first one was, how satisfied were you with the event? And we had 54 responses to the survey. It was a voluntary survey. And that represents about half of the people that were there. And the average rating for the satisfaction was 4.22. If you can get 4 out of 5, that's always good. I've worked with a consultant in the past that said kind of the benchmark is 4.3. If you get to 4.3, it's excellent. So I'm not quite there, but very happy with the results. Then the next question was the location and facilities. We held it at Hayward Wesleyan for a few reasons. Number one, we don't have the facility space here to hold that kind of an event because we had a keynote speaker where I wanted everybody to be together. Like 2 or 3 years ago, we did hold one here, and we had to have the main speakers in here, which meant, a third of the people could be in here at a time, if that, and it was full, packed. And so this worked very well. People rated that a 4.54, so they really enjoyed it there. It was close. It wasn't a burden to get to it or anything. And they have just a really nice facility, so many breakout rooms that we used, and the morning was all breakout sessions where they could do different wellness things, including physical, mental, emotional, and financial. So the space worked out excellent for all of that. The next question was overall schedule and pacing of the day. That came out at 4.41, so people were pleased with that, how the day flowed and the time we had in between everything. The options for morning wellness, that came out at a 4.28, so again, very good, but just under the benchmark I was kind of hoping to get at.
That one person that had a bad day.
There were 2 people who just didn't want to be
They
there.
didn't want to do that.
And,
But it
and,
wasn't elective, so that's funny, because they didn't have to be there, so.
well, I strongly encourage them to be there. The survey was to their discretion. And then I asked what breakout sessions they found particularly beneficial. And you've got a couple notes there, but in my study of it, they liked having the different sessions, the choices. They liked that they were able to choose. They liked the wellness-focused topics. They liked the opportunity to meet with people that they don't normally get to see. And the sessions we had, most of them were activity-based, but people did really like that they didn't have to be active. When I think of wellness, I think of activity. That's not how everybody thinks of it, so they appreciated the options. We even had just an open reading room for people who just, not everybody likes being around other people either. So to have options that weren't quite as out there, people appreciated that. Then I asked for what they would like to see for different sessions in the future. For the most part, people were really happy with what we had. There were a couple of suggestions around, actually, some people didn't like the reading room because they thought that wasn't active enough or integrated enough, but people wanted, like I had Andrew Gertis he owns Three Fly. He used to be an MMA fighter. Had him do some striking techniques and a little bit of self-defense. A lot of the women went to that. They thought it was a little more aggressive than they're hoping. And they're hoping for more, like, what do I do if somebody comes and grabs me from behind? And he was able to answer that, but I actually went to one of those. The group that I didn't go to was large. They had probably 24 people, and I think there's only one guy out of all of the 24. So that was the one where they more thought it wasn't what they were looking for. So one of the suggestions was not necessarily the breakout sessions themselves, but have a better write-up of what they're going to be. So,
No surprises, right?
yeah. And our own John Righeimer did jujitsu, which was received
Which,
well.
I took a private survey, it was like 4.8 or something.
I'm sure he did, yeah. No, it was received well, though. And then the keynote session was on small moments lasting impact. It was wrapped around the idea of emotional intelligence. I don't know if you've all heard about that, but it's kind of being aware of what's happening around you and responding accordingly. So in the survey for that, and I asked 5 questions wrapped around that because I wanted some feedback on that. And that is this little middle section here. And what it showed is that not many of the staff knew what it was or had exposure to it. But what came out of it was they felt the speaker clearly presented the topic and explained it very well, and also then made it applicable to their daily work and personal life. So that was good. That was what I was looking for. I knew it would be a new subject. I wanted staff exposed to it because having a high emotional intelligence really helps when you're dealing with the public. Like when you've got someone at the counter who's upset or maybe can't even relay the information they're trying to gather from you, it's good to be able to critically think and see things from their perspective and then also answer their question, let them go away satisfied. That's emotional intelligence. Getting the information from someone who might even be upset, but having them leave happy. So it takes emotional intelligence to be able to do that, not just hand them a flyer and say, this is what you got to do, but actually have them satisfied. Then I asked if the calls in the courthouse helped, and everybody said yes, except for the 2 that just didn't want to be there. So that skewed it a little, but overall, that was a very good result. I asked if it helped them better connect with their coworkers, and they said yes. You might think, well, everybody works in the same building, or almost everybody. It doesn't mean we connect with each other. We are behind our closed doors, working on our stuff. We're dealing with public in our area. So there is not a lot of cross-department exposure to each other. So that was good. 48 out of 54 appreciated that. 6 it doesn't mean they didn't like it. It means they didn't feel they had the opportunity to better connect. And And one of the responses and what they didn't like, and it's kind of, I guess, how they chose to do it, a department kind of went around together to all of the breakout sessions. They didn't have to do it that way. They could have chosen different ones and met with other people. I asked how the event met their expectations. 16 said beyond, 36 said met, and 2 said below expectation. So again, those 2 kind of were a constant, but we don't, but it was anonymous. But overall, people were very happy with it. I asked what people liked most and what could be improved. They loved that the courthouse was closed. They liked the opportunities for wellness and the pace for the day, even said the food was good, and then connecting with coworkers. Things that could be improved. I forgot the liquid creamer for the coffee, so that was one thing that we can work on, which we will.
What did they like?
No liquid creamer. I think we had powdered.
It was detrimental to wellness, yeah.
Yeah, well, mental wellness maybe, emotional.
I would say if the temperature of the location would have been improved on.
That came up in a few different places, yeah. It was very cold.
You were
Yeah,
doing jujitsu, the rest of us were cold.
yeah, it was freezing. A suggestion was to have the event when we can do it outside. That one's tough because we're really limited to have everybody together, have the courthouse closed. It has to be a federal holiday that staff works, and that really brings it down to Martin Luther King Day. The other one that could be a possible option, I guess, would be Juneteenth. I think that's a recognized federal holiday, and we do work it. Could be. So it's a good suggestion, it's just harder to make that work.
When you have to depend on if it doesn't rain. I mean, there's
Yes.
tons of factors, so you could do it when it's nice, but it's not here.
Well, and you'd have to have a backup plan. Like, one of the options people had was to go snowshoeing, at the hospital trails. And it was 20 below that day. We did still have, I think, 6 people that did it. They're diehards and wanted to do it. I also want to thank the school for providing snowshoes. They gave us 27 pair to use. And the diehards had their own, so we actually didn't use any of them, but it was still nice to work with the school.
There was a group that went and used actually
And
Tamarack had.
yeah. The other thing we worked with the school with is to use Tamarack, and I believe we had 8 people do that. So feedback from that was wonderful too. They loved that facility.
So I just want to thank you for letting me go as a county board member. It was just really nice to see the camaraderie and then to meet people that I normally don't meet because unless they come to meetings. So if you get a chance next time, any county board member, I think it was very beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. It worked out very well. The thing that I was probably the most pleased with, I mean, everything went well, but during the keynote speaker, he was very interactive and, he pretty funny too, but I felt that the staff got into it. They were receptive, they were laughing and stuff too. So that made me happy because it was right after lunch. There's never a good time to have a keynote speaker, maybe right before lunch, but then everybody's hungry too, so. But he kept their attention, so I was happy with that. I'm planning on doing it again next year, and I'll take the suggestions for improvements to heart and move forward. Any questions on that? All right, moving on to economic development. I worked with Adam Lamore on the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's talent recruitment grant that was put out. Adam is the executive director for the Sawyer County LCO Economic Development Corp. And it was an opportunity to apply to get funding for businesses to hire from outside the state. And it would reimburse move-in expenses or even like a signing bonus or whatever.
Outside the state or just even outside, does it have to be somebody from outside Wisconsin or like somebody downstate came?
I think it was outside the state.
Okay.
Yep. I did verify that one.
Probably because it was a Wisconsin state grant.
Yeah, which to be honest, I was a little torn on that because we have good talent in Wisconsin. I don't necessarily want to incentivize outside the state.
It's more of an issue of getting people to come here. Right?
Correct, yeah. So I would have appreciated if it was even just outside the county. That would have made more sense to us. But then Adam approached several businesses about it, and only 2 expressed interest. And to apply for the grant, you kind of have to say that you expect 25 positions to be filled through this program. And we were never going to be able to do that with only 2 businesses looking at doing it. So we decided not to push through.
Amongst 25 businesses, had 25 had interest.
Yeah, it could have been all in one, it could have been a spread out over 25, but the goal is to hit 25. And you had to say you were going to hit 25 in applying for the grant. You didn't have to hit it, but neither Adam nor I felt comfortable putting this, because it's like $600,000 grant, saying we're going to do 25 and then do 2.
Right.
And, we would have had to return the money, but it would have taken away from another county or entity that maybe could have done it, so, yeah. It's a good idea, and I hope they do it again and maybe ratchet it down a little for our rural counties.
But we don't really have the makeup of those types of businesses. I mean, 25, that's a lot for this county, I would think.
It would,
I mean, you got a couple.
you've got healthcare that it makes sense
Okay,
for.
healthcare, yeah, would be the big one.
Because even like Arkland LP, they're generally drawing, other than maybe a few administrative positions, you're
Right,
kind of
yeah.
drawing from your area. So yes, it's not a great fit for us. Potentially the school, but even that, it would be much better if it was outside the county, because you get outside the state, then they might not even have a Wisconsin license, and
Right.
so I don't know. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the innovation grant, where it sounds really good, but then when you actually try to come up with something that works, it's harder. So, again, hopefully they bring it forward again and tweak it a little
I think
bit.
it's hard, any small county.
Yeah. Finance, we're continuing to close out 2025. We'll start getting requests from the auditors at the end of the month here. And Randy touched on this a lot at finance. Closing out the year is not as easy as it sounds, just because of, we get invoices that are due through February. We'll get revenues, especially some of the grants and aids that take a long time to actually come in. At some point, we kind of know what's going to come in, and we'll book them as either receivables or payables, but it's never 100% till you get the check in hand, I always figure. The public radio network, the work's underway. We still have a monthly meeting on that, get updates. We are making progress with the WOJB tower. They've expressed that public safety is a priority for them. The TGB has said that. The one hiccup there still is, because we want to be good neighbors too, they do want to get another cell phone provider on there, and they are negotiating with them. So we want to be a good neighbor to make sure all the equipment fits and doesn't detract from that, so that they can't do the cell phone network, because the revenue for them would be good. They want to keep our revenue or our lease payment low, and part of that is offsetting it with a cell phone company. So we're working on that.
So do they think they got room for both?
Yeah, there's definitely room. We may have to adjust the positioning of our equipment. The bigger factor is the cell phone equipment is much bigger and has to be higher. So then it comes into the engineering of the tower itself, because it wasn't built to those specs when it was constructed. So there may have to be, not that you have to tear down the tower or anything, but there may have to be some guide wires that,
Outriggers or
yep,
some guide
yes,
wires put on
yep,
there or something.
exactly. So that's where that one's at. CJCC, we had a good meeting. The executive committee has not met, but they do plan to meet by the end of February, the third Friday in February. We approved some additional changes which will come to the county board to the bylaws to help with our problems in meeting the quorum. And yesterday, we did have a quorum, and we only had one person absent, and that person has a spot, but probably isn't going to be coming very often anyhow. So I felt really good about it. It was the best meeting that we've had since I've been on the board. Justice Point received a $10,000 donation from a community member for their programming, which is huge. To my knowledge, we've never received any private donations to that program. So that is just an indication of the good work they're doing and people recognizing it. We've had some graduates now, so that's really good. Dave Dixon was here and he mentioned that he's got space. I can't remember his program. Timber Bay, yeah. Across the road, yep. And they have programming for students, children, after school on Wednesdays. And he welcomes, and he said this a few times, but he is on the board now. But he said we have room for additional kids, as does the Weiss Library. They have programming on Monday. They started out with one group, now they've expanded to 2 groups. So there are things for our kids. And Dave says they don't have to be at-risk kids, but he always says, I love the at-risk kids to come and have a place. And really cool stories there. And Hayward United Methodist pastor was here giving an update on their efforts to serve the homeless in the area. They are searching for a place to put people. It would be a one night only, not a permanent place, but somebody's here and they're in trouble and I need to get in out of the cold, that's what it would be. She did encourage people to reach out to Salvation Army as a first point of contact. And that ends my admin report. Any questions?
No,
Thank you.
thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Number 17, resolution 2026 to establish membership for the MSISAC. Discussion and possible action.
All right, everybody in this room was actually at finance, so I'll give a brief overview of it. Oh, that's what I was doing. I
I
guess.
skipped it, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I wasn't listening, I was reading.
I'm ready to make a motion.
You making a motion?
I make a motion, we approve it, yeah?
And I'll second it.
The wages?
The wages,
Okay.
yeah. Wages, yeah.
All right.
Now we'll try 17.
Well, you have to vote on it.
God,
We
man.
should, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, let's see, you got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 17.
So 17, this is something area counties, well, actually counties across the state have been doing. It's showing support for the ISAC system, which is an information sharing across county and actually across state lines. We are part of this. I believe Mike is actually on the board for it. So it's got to do with cybersecurity and just data sharing. What this is asking for is that there would be state help in the membership cost.
So this is beyond Wisconsin.
It is, yeah. But
Makes sense.
this, it would be for state funding
How
of,
much is the membership?
I should have looked that up. Let me see if I can find it quick. I don't think it's a lot of money. But anything we don't have to pay for always
Oh, I
helps.
get it. I just wondered if it, because we would approve it here and then,
It'll go to the county board, so I can find out the cost prior to that if I can't get it here.
but I mean, who then encourages the state to reimburse us? How does that, is that separate?
Yeah, these are resolutions that we'll send to, like we do other resolutions to our representatives.
Okay, I got you.
It's a statewide,
So is
Yeah.
it- Yeah, okay.
a state of Wisconsin membership is what it's asking.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
I can't find the cost right now, but I can get it for next week.
Of course, the vote.
A lot of the counties are doing this now, so these are coming across my desk all the time each year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we
Approve?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Rickheimer, second by Mr. Buckles to approve the resolution for the MSISAC. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 18, Board Appointment Committee updates. Anybody have anything they want to share?
Just that I had an Nemacoggin Transit Board meeting today.
Correspondence reports, conferences, meetings, future agenda items. Anybody have anything that future agenda items? We'll continue to work on the veteran tribute. Thank you for your valuable time. Meeting adjourned. See you next Thursday, if not before.